This book changed my views on kicking out babies and encouraging other people to kick out their babies. The book I'm gonna do a review on is The Atonement Child by Francine Rivers. I'm not the best at doing book reviews, so I'm just gonna talk about a few characteristics of the book and why I love this book and what I learned from it. So a few characteristics of this book: it's 374 pages and it is young adult. I wouldn't categorize it under romance just because the romance is kind of light. It's like throughout the book, but it's not heavy and it's not surrounded by the whole book, but definitely just fits in the, what do they call it? Like, I guess just young adult fiction. Yeah, I think young adult fiction would be good. And then the trigger warnings I would have for this book: it does deal with a whole lot of conversation. Like, the whole book is really about kicking babies out, if you can catch my drift. It does talk about RAPE, it does. And it has conversations of divorce and two people fighting as if they're about to get a divorce. So keep that in mind if that's triggering for you. And also talks of illness if that is triggering for you as well. Okay, so the first thing that I really loved about this book is the talks of generational strongholds. I really love the way Francine did the whole, like, showed like the power of generational strongholds and not talking to your kids about the things that you've done, and how much that can really change your child's projection or trajectory in life. And it just also helps the child know not to make certain decisions or what decisions to make because of what you've done. Next, exposing Christians. But exposing Christians, and sometimes when things get really tough, and I feel like this is not always admitted in the community, but when things get really tough, Christians can abandon God's laws to make it more convenient for their situation. And I really, really love the way that she did it. You know, Francine Rivers, she's just a really great writer in the way that she depicts things in the Christian community. She does a really great job. And of course, I feel like this is always on my list for Francine Rivers. I love how she shows evangelism, showing like having the courage to evangelize when God puts it on your heart, being obedient in the moment, and also knowing when to stop, knowing like when it stopped trying to show the truth. Like, there's like time, like, hey, tell the truth about them, but hey, don't push it too far. Like, I really love that because I feel like that's very important in evangelism, especially from a person who's scared to evangelize, has a lot of question about evangelism, and is still learning how to evangelize. Okay, my next one was future spouses. So again, like I said, there's definitely romance in this book, but it is like, it's pretty calm throughout the book. I really love, there's so many things I love the way that she depicted like her future spouse and like, you know, the person she's supposed to be with, and even just like how she did relationships in general. But one thing I really enjoyed was how God's timing in a relationship really works, and that God could have a promise, but two people are going through two different paths in life, and, you know, eventually, you know, they'll come back together in his timing, and how it shows how necessary that time is. Because when you're looking at like both of their like situations, it's like they were going through some pretty heavy stuff, and I really love that also because it shows that you don't need to have dependency on like your future spouse. Your future spouse, like, you don't need them in the moment for every hard life situation. Like, they really went through things separate with God and not like leaning on each other, which I thought was pretty cool. And then also how God brought them together. Oh my gosh, just loved it so much. And it also confirmed a lot of things for me. But yeah, I just love the way she did it. Oh, and the last thing I'm gonna say about the whole future spouses, also how like God has that veil behind someone's eyes. Like, because you're gonna read this book and you're gonna think like, how does she not know, or how does he not know? But it's really just that veil that God has, and then he, you know. So I really love it. So my last one that I had, I love the way that she dealt with giving out information on the sides of pro-life and giving out information on pro-choice. I really like that. So as I said in the beginning, this book really changed my mind on kicking out babies and encouraging people to kick out babies, because I was always like a person, now when I was like younger, like I was pro-choice, and I had someone say, well, aren't you a Christian? Shouldn't you be like pro-life? But I was like, what? And then I began to understand what Christianity has to do with a part in it. And so once I settled with that, I was still a person where, and I'm not gonna, when I say pro-life and pro-choice, I'm not gonna talk about like voting. I'm talking about just like a state of mind, what I would do, what I would encourage other people to do. I wouldn't have gotten one. I used to say like, oh, if I got like pregnant in high school, I definitely would, but now I would just deal with it. It definitely changed my mind. It definitely changed my mind now that even if I was 15, I still would have gave birth to that baby. It changed my mind about that. But I really love how like she just gave certain information, because she's not like, oh yeah, don't kick out your baby, and then still shows that you should have compassion for the mother and everything she went through. I really love that and considered her situation. And also like what it really taught me about like kicking out babies is that as a woman of God, like we benefit so much from being tied to Christ, because it's gonna be, for women who do not know Christ, it's gonna be a very hard road for them when it comes to having an unwanted pregnancy, especially if it came from a traumatic event. It's gonna be extremely hard for them. But as women of God, we're so blessed that even though there are women out there who went through these horrible things and we're still called to have the baby, we're still better off. And that's what this book really showed me, because I used to give the same arguments about certain things. Well, what if she was in this situation? Da, 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 da. And it's like, honestly, as a woman of God, you're straight. You're literally straight. You just went through something extremely traumatic. But now, like, I feel like my favorite thing in the book, I think it was like the grandmother, because the grandmother was like a good sound of voice. The grandmother had said like, oh, like, yes, you went through this traumatic thing, and like I feel for you. And mind you, and it's like a spoiler, a little bit spoiler. Actually, I'm not gonna say that. The grandmother, she was like, yeah, like, even though you went through this traumatic event, you deciding to kick out your baby is gonna be even more traumatic. And like, what would kicking out that baby do for the trauma you already feel? Because it's like, look, you already went through your experience, and that's really hard. You already went through that. Now the only part is just to push out the baby. And that really, like, dang, like, that is true, because that would be double trauma just to go through. She already went through what she went through, and then to also go through the process of kicking out that baby, because it's not an easy process, very traumatic. It's just double the trauma. And yeah, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's how I feel about The Atonement Child. I love the book so much. It touched me a lot, changed me a lot. I just love Francine Rivers. Like, she just got me as a reader. I'll read like every book she writes. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you got this far, I'm gonna start doing these on YouTube, because clearly these are long videos and I really want to talk about how beautiful these books are and how they changed my life. But yeah, that's all. Bye.